Hi everyone, I'm Jen and welcome to my first ever garden tour. To give you a little bit of background, I'm located in a zone 7 and I'm inside city limits, so I don't have much space to work with. I try to focus on growing a lot of things in a little bit of space. Over here on this side, you can see I have a cattle panel trellis set up. This is where I grow all of my vining things, anything that needs trellising. Basically anything that has to go up goes here. If you swing over here to this side, this is where I grow the bulk of my vegetables. I do have one little section with some cut flowers, but mainly this is the vegetable garden. It usually gets full sun all day. It's really early in the morning here, so it'll be about an hour until we get full sun here. And I have 4 separate beds you can see me pointing out. Going over here to what I consider the first bed, you can see I have a few little project plants around the outside. It gets automatically watered and it's a nice little ledge, so I set stuff there. But for the vegetables, we have some broccoli here. This is the biggest broccoli I have ever grown. I'm actually super proud of this. This little section here has some peppers and a basil plant. It's all small, but it's early in the season, so they will get huge soon. Here I have 2 different lettuces. I have like a red Valentine lettuce and a corn salad here. And then I have some celery back there. It's growing in nicely. It still has some time to get a little bigger. Next up, we have the Brussels sprouts. And a mum, but that's going to come out soon. These are all Brussels sprouts. There's 2 different varieties. And if you get in here, you can kind of see, maybe not there. I'll try to get you in closer. But the little balls will form where the stems come out. I've had some success with Brussels sprouts before. That's where the little Brussels sprouts will form. I've had good success here with them before, and I expect this year to be the same. Then behind them, I have some garlic. That's been growing for a little while now. When you grow in small spaces, you have to be really strategic about when you plant things. So I had the garlic growing first so it could grow up and get tall, and then I put the Brussels sprouts in. That way they don't shade the garlic. And then in the back corners, I have some pepper plants. The thought process there is that when I harvest the Brussels sprouts, then the peppers will be big enough that they will be back there getting a ton of sun. Here, in this little Dollar Tree planter, I was trying to do the Dollar Tree green bean planters, so I have a few around, but I ended up separating them just because they're really hard to keep watered because they're so small. This third section is a little bit of a disaster. I have a mum here. I'm going to take that out and put it in a planter for the fall. I was overwintering it here. Then I have some Swiss chard down in there. It's really pretty, but it got taken over by bugs and pests. I put some ladybugs in here to try to take care of all that, but I think the Swiss chard just has to go. Like, there's too much pest damage there. Some of the newer leaves I have are nice, but all these big ones, they're destroyed. And I find I don't really use Swiss chard in a lot of things. This cabbage, I have 3 of them. They're a red leaf cabbage, even though they're more purple than they are red. They are so pretty, but they get so big. When you look up square foot gardening guides, they say you can grow a cabbage in a square foot section. They take like 3 square feet. They're huge. They overcrowded some lettuce I had and some little basil. I come in occasionally and I'll take off a leaf here and there. We're just going to get rid of the Swiss chard leaves. That's gross. But I will come through and take off the bottom leaf of the cabbage. It'll still allow the head to grow, but it will stop it from shading everything else around it. Back here, I have some crisp head lettuce. I'm not actually using it for heads, but I'm using it for leaves. And then I have some onions back here. They look small and wimpy now, but they will get bigger. In the corners, I put 2 gazania flowers, just because I wanted to see them, and I thought they were pretty. I have spinach here, and I also have some chamomile that I just passed by. The spinach is looking better. It also got hit by some bugs. You can see that one's really bad, but the new leaves are fine. Then this 4th section here, this is all my cut flowers. These sunflowers, they kind of self-seeded. I had sunflowers along the back last year. I had it along the back of all the beds, but in this bed particular, I had them in the back. And when I pulled them out, I kind of ruffled the seeds and they self-seeded everywhere. They got hit by bugs a little bit too. Then I have cosmos. This one's called Love in a Mist. Here I have some carnations growing. There's some ranunculus in there. That's a carnation bud right there. We have some cosmos. I usually keep zinnias in here too. This is my cut flower bed that I come out to, and I'll make little vases for myself. I add stuff from elsewhere around the yard, but this is my main cut flower bed. I got some new stuff growing in here. I planted some zinnia seeds and some other things. Then here I have some seeds growing that I'll fill in the gaps with. Some of the squashes and loofah, that'll go over on the cattle panel trellis. I've got some more green beans because some of the early ones got hit by bugs too, so I'll fill in some stuff. These plants here that I'm pointing out, they're called evening primrose. I'll get a little closer for you. Avoid these things at all costs unless you want them to take over your entire flower beds. I pulled them out of a flower bed in the back because they were just taking over. I potted them up, and I'm actually going to give them to my mom because she needs a spot where they'll just take over. Then lastly out here, I have this rack that I usually tie sunflowers to, but this year I'm trying to grow my own hanging baskets so I can just hang them on the little pole and they're good to go. Coming back over to this little corner section, here you can see I pulled out some more mums. I try to overwinter them in my garden bed and then pull them out and put them in pots so that in the fall I have them in a nice pretty pot. Then here I have the Dollar Tree planters with some green beans. Alright, now we're heading to my trellis. This is one of my favorite projects. So around the outside, I actually have crisp head lettuce. It was bare there, and I won't have stuff to fill in until later in the summer. So for now, I put lettuce there, and it grows perfectly fine. In the middle here, I have a bunch of flowering sweet peas. These ones should grow up and bloom and be beautiful. Then in the middle, I have these smaller things I got at Ollie's. I just wanted to try them out to see if they would work, and I put some squash in there. I am going to go through and thin the squash out just a little bit, and then I have some things that still need planted. But again, it gets automatically watered, so I leave it there. This section has all of my edible peas. So the one side was flowering peas, just for the flowering sweet pea. This side is all the edible peas. I'm trying to find, they're all blooming, but I'm trying to find an actual little pea pod to show you. There's one. But this side will fill in nicely with peas, and then after the peas die out, then I have some cucumber that I'm going to put in there, and then all of my vining squashes like butternut squash, acorn squash, spaghetti squash, loofah. They will all go in here after the peas are done. Then back to our Dollar Tree planter. You can see there's a few bare spots and a few spots that didn't really work out that well. That's why I have the other ones that I had started, the ones that are over here. I'll use these to fill in any of the green beans that didn't quite make it from the earlier plantings. Thank you for sticking around and watching my garden tour. Hopefully you'll come back next month for another one, and let me know what you think.